Welcome today. This is the series Living Your Dreams. This is the fifth in the series today. And we'll be going through internal barriers, internal obstacles like we did last week, but this is part 2. I'm Rachel. I'm from Creative Pathways Coaching. Welcome today. So we're going to start with internal obstacles. We talked last week about internal obstacles that had more to do with other people's opinions and those barriers that actually played a part in how, we step towards our goals and stuff. So today we're actually going to talk about a very, very common internal obstacle, and it's called your comfort zone. So at the end of this video, of course, as I've done with every other video, I'll be teaching you a technique that is applicable for today and the stuff I'm actually talking about today, as I've done with every video in this series. So these techniques are actually really good to use regularly. They actually help with those barriers there, and actually will help you and step towards, striving towards those goals and those dreams that you've always wanted to have. So we're talking about comfort zone. Some people, I'm not talking about comfort zone in regards to what makes you comfortable, but human beings don't like change. And even when we're in situations where we actually don't particularly always like the situation that we're in, or we're not totally happy, we're not totally sad, but we're not totally happy. And what can keep human beings in the same position, doing the same thing every day, every week, every month, is avoiding change. Now, this actually has a lot to do with avoiding pain. We actually do, as human beings, refer to change as pain. And now that sort of pain can reflect in many different ways, and it's particularly about uncertainty and about instability. So we have this belief system, most of us human beings have this belief system that if we do things the same way, we will get the same outcome. And that is the case for actually most of the time. Most of the time we do the same things, we get the same outcome. And that actually creates what we call our habits in life. And we know, I'm sure you can think of a number of habits that you have in your life that A, you'd like to get rid of, but B, they just keep you a little bit comfortable. You know you have it, you know you should get rid of them. Perhaps it's about eating, perhaps it's about not exercising as much as you like. Maybe it's about addiction, smoking, drinking too much at night, that sort of stuff. But we become very attached to those habits, and change we associate with pain. So we stay within those habits, within those things that we do every day, so that we at least know what the outcomes are going to be. Now, all well and fine, and look, on an everyday basis, that actually might be the case. But sometimes we experience change when we're not expecting it, and it's those times when, and it can be an example would be getting fired. So losing your job, separating. So say your partner leaves you and you're going through a divorce. Those things that can maybe not always come out of the blue, but will feel like they come out of the blue, and suddenly change has to happen. You've got no other choice. And in those scenarios, when we are already in pain, change happens and we hate it and we deal with it. And for a lot of people, particularly people who actually can embrace that change a little bit, they actually grow and they actually do start to go for those goals and those dreams, because suddenly change has been thrust upon them and they've had no other choice. So sometimes those things in life, so when we do have those things in life that are so painful, sometimes it can be the case that they are the mechanism, the start of the mechanism towards growth. So again, human beings don't like change. So how much are you willing to change to actually experience growth in your life? Is this applicable to you? Do you feel that this is something that maybe you do, that you can look towards? Because in regards to going through for your goals and going for your dreams, you do need to have an aspect of change in your life. And that can be less money coming in, whether it be about, I don't know, let me think, saving a deposit for a house. You want to buy a house, which means you've got to cut back on money. Could it be as simple as education, you want to go to uni, or you want to do this to become something else, which means you've got to study at night, you've got a job during the day, you've got kids, you've got what have you, which means that at that time at night when you would perhaps sit in front of the TV, you're now studying, you're now doing assignments, you're now going to college or going to uni, and the time that you once had, you don't have anymore. So this is where, in regards to taking on your goals, taking on what you want to do, what sometimes gets in the way, and actually for a lot of people it gets in the way, is change. And the expectation that for things to change and for things to grow and for you to grow, you are going to have to embrace some level of change. So this is a biggie. Because if you think about it, when it comes down to, we think about our deathbed and what we regret and what we don't regret. Most people, when they're on their deathbed, regret maybe the stuff maybe they weren't as open in relationships, or maybe they didn't go after that dream because it was too hard at the time. And, for people who do become older, those can become regrets later on. So, look, I know I work with people a lot in regards to looking at that. What are they going to regret later on? Is it worth the pain now to get that dream happening at this moment in time and start working towards it? So as well, when we're looking towards change, when we're looking towards growth, one of the other things that comes up in regards to those internal barriers is also that what I would call inner conflict. And that's about not being congruent with who we are. It's a little bit of an aspect of what I spoke about last week. And this is about being who you are as a person, going back again to what you feel, what you want, how you want your life to look. And people who are more congruent, who have less inner conflict within themselves between, they may say one thing, but think another, but do another. And this is very common with a lot of people, and particularly as I talked about last week about other people's opinions. What they think may be very different to what they say, because they're concerned about what someone else will think. And then, of course, their action is going to be different from that. So really, people who are congruent tend to look happier. They tend to look more attractive. They tend to be just overall very comfortable in their own skin. So and this plays a part in regards to going for stuff that you want, stuff you want in life. You do need to have an element of being congruent. So we're going to look at today, as we do with each video, is go through a technique that will actually help you. This is less about being congruent, because I actually think the exercise we did together at the first video actually can help you with being quite congruent, can certainly help you with your confidence levels. But today we're going to do a technique that's called A Different Way. Now, it doesn't involve your journals this time. It actually involves your action. So what I'd like you to do is think about your life and think about what you do every day and the habits that you do. Now, that can be as simple as driving the same way to work each morning, or driving the same way to the supermarket every couple of days or once a week, doing the same things that you do over again, and if you think about those things and how you do things as human beings, again, you'll start to see how much you don't change things up. You keep it the same way. So what part of what the technique with a different way is about getting you, it would be great if you could do it once a day, but even every couple of days, where you actually do something different. For some people, it can be something wild that they do every couple of days. I'm not asking that. What I'm asking is to do something different. And it can be as simple as taking a different way to work, taking a different way to pick up the kids from school, going to a different supermarket. You usually go to one certain coffee shop to get your coffee. Go somewhere else. Go and check out that pathway near your house where you haven't been down, that you've meant to do, but you've never gone around to it, or what have you. Go for a walk. Maybe you don't usually go for a walk, but think about that. So what I want you to do is to do something different. And at the very least, every couple of days, and write it down. Write it down in your journal. Just write it down right at the end what you did do. Because what I want you to do is to be able to see the progress of that and see what you do and whether you actually start to do that as a regular thing, which is good, but then go and do something different after that. So if you like this video, if you like the series, please like, share, or subscribe. The subscribe button is down below. Also as well, if you're interested in one-on-one life coaching with me, please check out my website. It's www.creativepathwayscoaching.com. And also as well, if you just want to check it out anyway. I also offer, so I offer a free 30-minute consultation, as well as I also have guided meditation scripts that you can create your own meditation that really helps with getting in touch with yourself and who you are. So it's about yourself for yourself. And these scripts to create these meditations are about working on your negative self-talk. Really important. So they really look at overriding your negative self-talk. So I hope you enjoyed today and I hope you enjoyed the technique, and I will see you next week.